Tarn Greaves was no one special, just a human farmer scratching out a living on the dusty plains of Terranis VII, one of the most overlooked agricultural planets in the Outer Rim. His days were filled with monotony, feeding his battered machinery scraps of fuel, tending stubborn crops that barely grew in the dry soil, and collapsing into bed exhausted, but too anxious to sleep. Life was hard, but that was normal on Terranis VII. What wasn't normal was the strange coin he found buried in his fields one blistering afternoon. The sun hung low and heavy in the pale orange sky as Tarn wiped the sweat from his brow. His tractor had broken down again, leaving him to dig irrigation trenches by hand. As a shovel struck something solid, he grumbled, expecting to uncover yet another rock. But when he knelt to inspect it, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't a rock. It was a coin, round, metallic, and unlike anything he'd ever seen. It shimmered with a strange, shifting glow, as if tiny stars were trapped beneath its surface. Intricate alien symbols spiraled across it, faintly pulsing with light. What in the cosmos? Tarn muttered, turning it over in his calloused hands. The coin was heavier than it looked, and it hummed faintly, a vibration that seemed to resonate in his chest. It was beautiful, otherworldly, and completely out of place on his forgotten little farm. That night, Tarn sat at his battered kitchen table, staring at the coin under the dim light of a single bulb. He had no idea what it was, but his gut told him it was valuable. Maybe valuable enough to change his life. The next morning, he hopped on an old cargo shuttle bound for the nearest trading outpost. The outpost on Terranis VII wasn't much, just a cluster of dusty prefab buildings where farmers like Tarn sold their goods and bought supplies. But it had one important feature, a connection to the Galactic trade network. Tarn approached a scrappy-looking trader named Vesa, who ran a stall cluttered with everything from power cells to exotic trinkets. He placed the coin on her counter, trying to seem casual. "You ever seen anything like this?" Vesa's eyes widened as she picked up the coin, her fingers trembling. "Where did you get this?" she demanded. Tarn shrugged. "Found it in my field. Is it worth something?" "Worth something?" Vesa laughed nervously. This is a collector's coin. They're legendary. Only the richest elites in the galaxy own them. No one even knows where they come from." Tarn frowned. "So, what's it do?" Vesa leaned in, lowering her voice. "They say it's a key. To what? Nobody knows. But people will pay fortunes for it." Tarn's mind reeled. A fortune? Enough to fix his farm? To leave Terranis VII entirely? He wasn't sure if he believed her, but he wasn't about to leave the coin in her hands. "Who do I sell it to?" he asked. Vesa hesitated. "You'll need to go to a proper trade hub. It's too big for here." A week later, Tarn found himself in the bustling heart of a galactic trade hub. The place was overwhelming. Massive, gleaming towers stretched into the sky, and the streets buzzed with beings from every corner of the galaxy. Tarn felt completely out of place, a poor farmer surrounded by wealth and sophistication. He found his way to an auction house, the kind that dealt in rare and exotic items. When the auctioneer saw the coin, her calm demeanor faltered for just a moment, replaced by something that looked like greed and fear. "This will cause quite a stir," she said. "Are you sure you want to sell it?" Tarn nodded. "What else would I do with it?" The auction was broadcast across the galaxy. News spread quickly. An authentic collector's coin had been found, something so rare that even the wealthiest elites considered it mythical. Bidding began at an astronomical price and only went up from there. As Tarn watched the numbers climb, his head spun. He couldn't even comprehend the amounts being thrown around. By the end of the auction, the coin sold for a sum that could buy an entire planet. But the story didn't end there. The buyer was an enigmatic figure known only as Vale, a reclusive billionaire with a rumored obsession for ancient alien artifacts. Tarn was invited to meet him, a meeting that turned out to be anything but ordinary. Vale's estate was a floating palace orbiting a distant star. Tarn arrived in awe, escorted by sleek automatons through gilded halls lined with treasures from across the galaxy. When he finally met Vale, the man was more machine than flesh, his cybernetic enhancements gleaming under the soft light. "The coin," Vale said, his voice mechanical yet commanding. "Do you know what it is?" "No," Tarn admitted, feeling small in the billionaire's presence. "Do you?" Vale smiled faintly. "It is a key, as your trader friend said. A key to a vault of unimaginable power and knowledge. But the true value of the coin lies in what it chooses." "What it chooses?" Tarn asked, confused. Vale nodded. "The coins are ancient, created by a civilization long gone. They seek out those who are worthy. It's not an accident you found it, farmer." The revelation stunned Tarn. He had gone from a simple farmer to the center of galactic attention. The coin's choice had marked him as someone extraordinary, though he couldn't understand why. In the following months, Tarn used his newfound wealth to transform Terranis VII. The struggling farming world became a thriving hub of innovation and prosperity. And though he never saw the coin again, rumors persisted. Rumors that it had unlocked secrets even Orin Vale couldn't comprehend. As for Tarn, he remained humble, even as the galaxy hailed him as a symbol of the extraordinary potential hidden in the most unlikely places.